Hi, I'm Larry Hall with hybridcars.com, and with me is Joe Telmo from Toyota University. Joe, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it very much. We're here for the introduction of the 2012 Camry Hybrid. Now, Joe, we have the hoods open here, and this is the 2011. This is the 2012, and there's some differences. This has 200 horsepower, more than what this has, and yet there's better fuel mileage. How'd you do that?
The engine is actually a beltless design, so there are no accessory components that are actually running off of the engine, so that helps with overall fuel economy. Also, too, the engine, the 2.5 liter features modified intake and exhaust manifolds to actually help the engine breathe a little better.
All right.
And it produces a little bit more torque as well.
All right. So, Joe, what's the fuel economy on the 2011 Camry Hybrid?
The fuel economy for the 2011 is rated at 31 city, 35 highway with an overall of 33.
And the 2012 Camry?
2012 for the LE model is rated at 43 city, 39 highway with an overall of rating of 41.
How do you guys get that mileage? And we've got 200 horsepower. I mean, that's pretty incredible, I think.
Yeah, one thing that the chief engineer pretty much focused in on was that fuel economy, high fuel economy for the hybrid model. But not only that, the way that this was also achieved was basically by reducing the overall weight of the vehicle. The weight of the 2012 Camry is roughly about 200 pounds less than the 2011 model. But not only that, a lot of the fuel economy changes as well was due to the overall management of the power and the management of the hybrid synergy drive system. So by actually lightening the vehicle and actually enhancing the software that's used to operate the hybrid synergy drive system, we were able to achieve those ratings.
Now, you did some other changes. The trunk is bigger now.
Yes.
And how did you do that?
Well, the trunk has actually increased by a little over 2.5 cubic feet. And one of the way that that was basically achieved was by moving some components out of the battery pack of the which is actually placed in the trunk, specifically the DC to DC converter, which actually supplies electricity to the electric motors. That particular component was actually moved to the inverter, which is now under the hood. So by actually moving that component from the battery pack to under the hood, the engineer was able to make that battery pack a little smaller, a little less wide.
Okay.
And also too, they were able to push the battery pack further into the trunk area by about 5 inches, thus increasing overall cubic feet by about 2.5 cubic feet.
Well, Toyota's done some other magic with this car.
Yes, they did.
It's the same length, has the same wheelbase, and yet when I get it, particularly in the back seat, it's roomier. How'd you guys do that? I mean, you got all kinds of tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, the overall increase to the interior compartment is approximately 2 cubic feet. So that was basically achieved by reassessing the overall interior and finding out areas where we can actually achieve additional space. One of the ways that it was achieved was by actually reshaping the interior door trim panels. Again, to give it a feeling of a little bit more spaciousness. Another way was basically by redesigning the actual front seats as well. You mentioned that you found a lot of legroom in the back.
Yes.
Yeah, the rear seat backs of the front seats are actually carved out a little more to actually allow for more knee room. But not only that, the shape of the center console, the rear end of the center console was reshaped, along with the seat cushion bottom, which was reshaped, which actually gives the center seat passenger an additional 2 inches of additional legroom as well.
I also noticed that center position is more comfortable in the 2012 than it is the 2011.
Yeah.
So you've done a marvelous job with this car.
Yeah, it's all about efficiency and finding ways where you can actually gain just a couple more inches of additional space.
Joe, thank you very much for being with us today. I appreciate it. And 2012 Camry Hybrid will be arriving sometime in November or December. Enjoy the drive.